I think for men in general, they need instructions, they need a manual, and it's very frustrating because for me, having to explain when I fall short, I need you to help, like having to like verbalize that it cause a conflict for me because I feel like you should already know this. Like I'm asking for teamwork, but I'm not asking you to be a member of my team. I'm asking you to be an administrator of the team. The tasks and things that we are doing, those are players. We are organizing them.
I love that analogy.
I'm submitting to you because you're my husband and you're leading us. I think culturally, that is something I love. As Americans or Westernized people, I don't think that we have that in our culture.
So do you think giving orders to your husband, do you think it emasculates?
It does. It causes a rift in your relationship. You have to learn how to speak to him in his language and his tone.
Welcome back to Life as a Seed podcast. On today's episode, I have my nephew's wife. Welcome, Tia.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Tia was here the last time. She was talking about or sharing with us her intercultural relationship, marriage.
Yeah.
She's African American, Black American, and married to my African Nigerian nephew. So if you didn't watch the episode, please go watch it. Spicy, juicy. You learn a lot from it. So today I wanted to talk about, Tia, I wanted to ask you about, marriage and the role of gender in marriage. So being from different culture than my nephew who is Nigerian, what has been the hardest part or portions of your marriage? Like what have you guys struggled most with in terms of like gender roles and all that? Can you share that?
I think a lot of our struggle has come from, I think he doesn't believe that he believes that he has a bias of what gender roles should be. And so when I point it out and I say, well, I'm doing most of the cooking and cleaning, take care of the baby, doing all like the domestic things, but I also have to get up and go to work. Can you help? He'll say, no, you just did it once. And I'll say, no, this is like an everyday thing. This is a routine, but I'm asking you to help now. And then that becomes like a whole conversation because it becomes like a shutdown because like he believes he's more progressive in that realm than I view he is. And so I know like we've talked and you say like for culturally like he is more progressive and he is doing a lot more than he was raised to do. But I think in our home it seems as if he should be congratulated or rewarded for doing what I feel like is expected. Yeah. And then that could cause conflict because his needs are not being met. Right? Like he's going above and beyond. But my point of view, my perspective is that no, you're doing what you're asked, and this is the baseline. Above and beyond would be something completely different. And because we have these two different viewpoints, both of our needs are not being met. And so that could cause either argument or shutdown or like lack of communication. And so like us sitting down and like expressing ourselves in the best way that we can and communicating like this is what I need right now from you is really the only way for us to really get over that. So yeah, did I answer the question?
Yeah, no, you did. Okay. You did. I mean, because gender role is a huge thing for in African homes.
Yeah.
I grew up in an African home where my mom was the nurturer, the caretaker, took care of everyone, cooked, took care of my dad, and my dad went to work, provided. My mom also went to work and provided. In fact, my mom was, sometimes I marvel when I hear ladies talk about wanting a man to give them or wanting a man to be their sole provider, because I didn't have that template growing up. Growing up, my mom was that person who provided as much as my dad provided, but also took care of the home front.
Okay.
So that was the example I grew up in. But yeah, I see how that could be a challenge in your marriage, because in African context, men are socialized and raised to be providers and not necessarily homemakers. So they're not taught how to cook, how to clean the house, how to take care of a child. So getting married to an African man raised in such an African household, I imagine it will be a lot of challenge for you. So in the African American culture or context, how were men or how are men raised? Are they raised to be domestic or?
I think it depends. More traditional households where both parents are educated and working, I believe their sons are taught to be the breadwinner and provider, and that word breadwinner is used. So yes, your wife can work, but you should always make more than her, right? And so I know men are taught to do the hard things. So what small hard things would be: take out the garbage, mop the floor. They take care of the mechanical things in the house, any construction that we need to do in the house, if anything needs to be fixed or whatever. That's a man's job. I think in a lower income, undereducated household, men are taught to survive. And so whatever you need to do to help in survival of your household, you do that. So if that means that you have to make hamburger helper on Tuesday, then you make hamburger helper on Tuesday, and then you still go to work and you still change a diaper. And I think that's more so of, and if you need to have 3-4 jobs, you have 3-4 jobs. And then she also has 2-3-4 jobs. And you guys are just figuring it out. One of you work in the daytime, one works in the nighttime because we can't afford, daycare, whatever that looks like. But it's a team effort. And then I think there's households or there's the middle where there's that team effort along with the breadwinner mentality, and I think that's where I grew up, in that middle. Yeah.
So team. So you grew up seeing your parents work as a team?
No, I grew up seeing aunts and uncles work as team, and then my mom was my dad was an active father, but he wasn't in my house, so I saw my mom do everything. And so that kind of blurs some things because she's mom and dad for majority of the year. And then I go with my dad for a few months and then he's dad, but he's not mom. And it's very clear you're not mom, So yeah, so that's I feel isn't a cultural difference. That's just a life experience difference.
Yeah, biological difference. Women can play both roles, mom and dad, most times. But it's hard for a man to play both roles. A man can play the man role most times, even though some men can also play, mother role. But I feel women are unique in that they can play both roles, which is amazing. I think it's maybe our biology or just the way we're socialized.
Yeah. I believe we have higher expectations, and because we have higher expectations, we grow to adapt quicker and faster than men. Yeah, I believe that they are we are told you cannot, right? You cannot. So then that just makes you do, right? So then a man is told, oh, you can do whatever, you can have whatever. That makes you sit back and relax, and we aren't given that luxury. So now we can do anything and be anything, and that sometimes comes to our detriment because now we're doing everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that also happens a lot in the Black household, but I don't necessarily know what that looks like in the African household, because it seems like, because I didn't realize how many African mothers worked. Like, I know my husband's mom works, and I know, but he also saw, from what he's told me, his father helped out in the house. You know, like he said, his dad would organize them to clean up and cook and do things. So that sounds like a very progressive Western, I'm not gonna say American, just Westernized home.
Progressive, yeah.
And not like a traditional African home. And like what I was taught or read in the textbook or seen in the movie was that African moms stay home, they take care of their children, they you know, cook and they make things from scratch and they barely buy things and they grow everything in the backyard. Like, you know, that's what I'm seeing. And then like meeting your family and like getting to know more, like, no, that's not it. Like,
not all families. Yeah, there are lots of families that still operate that way, but a lot of families, maybe in the 60s or 70s, maybe more of that. But in today's world, no. In fact, a lot of women are like breadwinners, literally. And they're breadwinners in such a way that people looking from outside in, or I don't know, how do you say that? Looking from the outside, you think the man is a breadwinner, but it's the woman. Because the woman will still pay difference to her husband. But she still defers to him. So even though she's the boss in the house, but when she comes into the house, like she submits her income, everything she has to the man, and then the man decides what they do with the money.
Oh.
Yes. In some households, it's that way. So African women be working hard, like they've been working, but culturally, they're also expected to respect their husbands and be submissive still. So you're not, even though you earn so much at the breadwinner, you're not supposed to lord it over your husband and emasculate him and make him feel like less than no. So like, you know.
I think that's interesting. That like, if a woman is making more and she's not necessarily like 100% submissive, then it could be viewed as if her husband is lesser than. I think that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's interesting.
But I think it follows too, because men are very egotistical, right? They place a lot of value on, you know, things they can provide, money and all that. And I imagine whether consciously or subconsciously, they feel less than, even if the woman is not trying to make them feel that way. But the other thing is, okay, do you just stop trying so that your husband doesn't feel threatened by your success? No, I don't think so. You just keep trying. So in your marriage, right, I see both of you are working as a team, honestly.
Yeah.
You guys are working so perfectly. I'm so proud of I'm so proud of him. Like, he's just doing wonderfully well. So how do you guys keep those roles? Like, is it flexible, or are they set in stone? Like, you guys take turns to do everything?
So if you haven't already watched the last episode, here's a little snippet. I already talked about how like I have to learn how to quiet my volume. That's one area where I haven't mastered the volume yet, because when it comes to him, he will get comfortable in whatever we're doing. And that's not life, right? Like, things change, things switch up, routines change. We have to be flexible. He's very like, nope, this is what we said we're doing, this is what we're doing. And that doesn't always benefit the whole, right? So while it might benefit him, it doesn't, like, everyone in the situation isn't, it's not working. So the system is breaking down while he's continuing to use. It's like you're using Microsoft 2000 in 2025. It's like, this is obsolete. We can't do that anymore. We have to switch it up. So that's a struggle, because I'm constantly like analyzing, evaluating, and this isn't a cultural thing. This is like, this is who you are, this is who I am, and we have to figure out how to compromise in this, because this is who I am to my core, and this, you need a routine. I'm trying to help you get a routine, but the routine also needs to be efficient. So then, in order for it to be efficient, it needs to change. It needs to go through revisions. That part right there is very hard for him. So while it might seem like outside looking in, like, oh, you guys got it going on, like you're figuring it out, behind that closed door, I'm like, get it together. Get it together. But like, it might take some months. But every now and then I get a, you know what? I appreciate you, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it, because every now and then, and like every now and then, I have to go to him and I say, you know what? I appreciate you, because you're right. I was doing too much. Like, that was fine the way it was, and then so it's like, with our gender roles, what I'm getting at is like, clean the kitchen. You clean the kitchen every night? Yes. In the morning, we have certain baby routines we have to do. If I get up and do it, let's say for 2 weeks straight, for him, that's routine. This is now like 001, whatever. This is now it. If I miss it, his day shifts, right? So, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes the baby didn't sleep at night. Sometimes, like, and I'm just like, well, that means you kind of have to step up and help then. And then for me, having to explain, like, when I fall short, I need you to help, like having to like verbalize that it cause a conflict for me, because I'm saying, I feel like you should already know this. And I think for men in general, they need instructions, they need a manual, and it's very frustrating because everyone isn't able to articulate themselves in a moment, and it might take some time. And while that time is passing, these things still need to get done. And so then that burden of doing the things fall on, the other person. Yeah.
I think in your situation, I think maybe because that cultural element definitely plays a part, right?
You think so?
Oh yeah, it does. It does. Because again, coming from a different background, it doesn't traditionally. Even though the man helps in the African home, the woman is the main. She's the chief caretaker of it. Yeah, the COO, the chief operating officer of the home, right? So if you keep doing it's almost like, okay, the man is supporting you. He's not responsible for this. He's helping you hold the kid. He's helping you babysit his child. Things like that. But so I think for you guys, it probably is just patience. We talked about it, and just keep learning one another. The way you do things might not necessarily be the way he'll do it, because you're just a different upbringing. But so long as the thing gets done, and I think so long as he's making an effort, right? I think that's really where what we should applaud. And honestly, the men, even though I feel like when African men come to America, the story changes for them. They become more helpful to their wives, which is awesome. Which is awesome, but back home, I really hope that the culture kind of switches up, especially because women are working as hard as the men. Women are breadwinners, so why wouldn't that gender role just be? I'm not saying the woman is the head, the man is still the head. The woman should still submit to her husband, but I feel like when it comes to things like household, like those things that wear and tear on the woman, the man should definitely, be involved.
Yeah,
fully, not in a supporting role, but in an active role. Both of them working actively.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It's definitely like, it shouldn't be coach and player. Like I'm asking for teamwork, but I'm not asking you to be a member of my team. I'm asking you to be an administrator of the team, and like the tasks and things that we are doing, those are players. We are organizing them.
I love that analogy.
Yeah. And so, but it takes practice and it takes time, like you said, patience, but practice for sure, because I'm a first time wife, I'm a first time mom, I'm a first time partner, I'm a first time administrator. So I don't necessarily know how all these pieces play. And I understand though, I'm starting to have understanding that as a woman, he's looking to learn from me and see how I'm doing things. And when I fail, that trust kind of drops a little bit. So I can't necessarily fail in front of him. I have to practice like on my own and then show him the final product. And then I don't have to hope. At first I was like, okay, I have to hope that he picks up on this. But like I'm starting to learn that like no, he's watching me and he's picking up on everything I'm doing, so that if and when I'm not around or I have something to do, he can kind of follow not my lead, but follow the routines of the home and make sure like things are okay in my short absence. And then when I'm back, and that just like gains his trust. And I didn't realize that that was my role as a wife or as a woman, was to make sure that he can trust me. Yeah. And he can trust like my decision making. Right? Yeah. Because I always felt like, okay, if you're asking me to submit to you, then I have no input. But that's not the case. Like, I'm submitting to you because you're my husband and you're leading us into the direction that we're going. And so that means like, you're praying for us, you're leading the devotionals, you are making sure that financially we're secure. But there's certain things that you also have to make like he has to make sure are going well in the house, like the upkeep of the home. He might not be leading that per se, but in a sense he is, because if our home starts to become unkept, he needs to make sure that I am aware and that he is voicing that his needs are not being met in a loving and caring way. And then also checking and make sure that I am taken care of. And like, I think culturally, that is something I love, because I didn't have to teach him that. He didn't have to read a book about that. He taught me that, you know? And so I think that's like a gender role that's important. And like, as Americans or Westernized people, I don't think that we have that in our culture. Yeah.
Right. That's true, because I feel like, America is so different. It's not patriarchal at all. So a lot of those things get lost, or it's not well emphasized. So Tia, do you think trying to get the man, get the man more domesticated or do what you want him to do you think it emasculates them, or they feel like you want them to do certain things in a very specific way? Because honestly, culturally, African culturally, it's almost like, oh, as a woman, there's a space for you. Like, you don't give orders to your husband. So do you think giving orders to a man or telling him to your husband, not a man now, but your husband, tell him things to do, or how do you think it emasculates?
It does.
Okay.
And it causes a rift in your relationship. You have to learn how to speak to him in his language and his tone. And I'm not meaning like his actual like native tongue, but like how does he
understand?
Yeah, and the way that he understands, and how does he want to be talked to? Because I will say something very blunt, like, the dishes are in the sink, clean them, point blank, period. That's it. And then while I don't necessarily think that's disrespectful, I think it's clear to the point, or I'll add a can you in there, be nice. But for him, I need to say, hey babe, I need help. Right? I need to let you know I need you. I need help. May you please do this? And then I also have to add a time frame, because he works on his own time. And so I have to let him know that I need it done within a certain period. Like, hey, can you do this before Noon, can you do this after you watch your soccer game? Because if I don't do that, then it's not a priority. It's just a request. It goes into the request box. It gets done, whatever. But if I say do it now, regardless of whatever, even if I let him know I need help, I let you know like you're needed. Now is a demand. That demand gets thrown away. Never reaches the request box. Go straight to disrespect. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like your approach. You can easily say, hey, go get the dishes. But you saying, babe, I need help, please, can you? Because everyone wants to be spoken to, respectfully. So it's good you're practicing that. So what role do you think men or fathers should play in the life of their children? Because again, going back to culture back home, I feel like women were left a lot to raise the kids. Yeah. Nurture. The dad just is on his, okay, hey kids, are you doing okay? Okay, bye, I'm going to work. They just provide. Yeah. What role should men also?
Men are 50-50 of that child.
Yep.
I think that is the only space in your home that is truly 50-50. Because if the mom is changing it, while there are some who believe the mother is the primary caretaker, I don't believe that. I don't think that my child should come in a home and say, Mom, I need this, Mom, I need that, Mom, I need this, Mom, and walk past their father. You come in, you see dad first, you go, hey, I need, right? And that's something I'm actively fighting for in my home. Regardless of cultural difference or not, this is something we need, because it's mentally draining for a mom to have to bear the weight of everything that the child needs, wants, his even as a baby, they have these little quirks about them, these little things, and for me to be the only one to know these things is it's a load, and we should share that load. We should know when the baby is agitated, when he's hot, when he needs to be changed, when he's hungry, and we should both be on alert and ready to serve our baby. That's what it is. We are. I am your servant. It is that's what it is.
The baby's the boss.
Yeah. You're the boss. And not just for me though. We have 2 workers here, at least 2, and with our specific situation, we don't have a lot of support. It's just us. So yeah, he has to step up, and he has to be reminded to step up, and it might not be in the nicest, kindest way, which means that I personally, as his wife, have to be intentional when I'm asking him to do things or making him aware of other things around our home and our relationship. I have to be very intentional and very kind, because when it comes to the baby, I can't. I have to be very stern, because culturally, he feels, again, that those small things he does deserve a reward. Whereas I believe these things that you're doing are requirements and expected, and I'm adding more to your list every day, because every day that I get something added to my list, I need you to learn that thing. And the difference that I've learned domestically, cleaning, cooking, whatever, I noticed that he learns, right? I practice, you learn. With the baby, you have to show him and be more in his face with it, because it seems like there's some sort of shade that kind of comes, and it's like a blind, it's nope, that's not my job, I don't have to learn.
And you understand where that is coming from, right?
Yeah.
So Tia, here's the thing, right? An African man is applauded for his ability to I don't know if control is the right word, but reign his wife or his family, be the all person, be the final authority, right?
I think the way that I'm explaining it makes it seem like I'm
like standing over his head and
like saying do this. No. It's more like I'm saying like, hey, come here. Or like, hey, like, baby, can you sit in the living room with me? Mm-hmm. And then like I have the baby and I'm changing the baby.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Compared to like,
hey, you come learn. This is how to do learn. I'm teaching you. Watch. No. I was gonna say no.
No. It's just like, oh, you want to watch this movie?
You my mom?
I know. No. It's like, hey, you want to watch this movie? And then now he's learned how to birth the baby. Yeah. You put him in the vicinity because that's what I'm saying. Like the blinds come because it's like. I don't think that's what I'm saying. Like it's not intentional, but when certain things happen with the baby, like the baby it's not a toy, but he's like fun. Like it's already like fun dad, strip mom, fun dad, strip mom. Like it's like I'm gonna come play with my baby, and then I'm going to give it back to you. Here you go. There's one thing like that he does, right? He gives the baby a bath. And
that's so sweet. Like that is so sweet. Like that is do you know who does that? There's something we call omugo, where if a woman gives birth, the woman's mom comes. She's the one that has the responsibility of bathing the child, like giving the baby hot water baths and all that. And it's a very special kind of tradition or ceremony. So for him to do that, I mean, I'm not saying, okay, let's applaud him because he's a man, but I think it's sweet, it's beautiful, honestly. Like, I'm amazed at his humility because, like I said, most African men, like, they're like too proud, too macho, like, why would I be doing that for my wife, this and that. In fact, some of his friends, I'm sure if he tells them that, they'll be like, why are you doing that, But that's, and that's what we need to reorientate men, like, make them know that, look, helping your wife, being domesticated is not a flaw. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Because your baby will remember those things. Babies, even when they're babies, they know, right? They might not be cognitive, but somewhere they know, wow, when that closeness or whatever love you poured into them, they remember, they know. So
that bond that they're building is going to be, it's foundational.
Yes. So honestly, I'm proud of him. He's doing a good job.
He's doing a fantastic job, and I don't want to take that away from this conversation because I know that this conversation can like lean negative, but there's a lot of positives, and so like that's why I want to mention that because you were saying like me teaching him. I didn't teach him how to give the bath. He saw me do the bath or whatever, and as a father, he said, I know a different way. And then he did that thing, right? He didn't wait for me to ask him. He didn't, he said, I'm going to do it. And then he did it. And it took him some time. He talked about it. And then finally he did it, right? Because you got to gear yourself up. And so then I said to him, maybe like the second or third time he did it, I said, this is very helpful. And then I said, maybe this could be something that you do. And then it took some time because at first he was like, no. And then it was like, oh yeah, like this is something that I could do, And so, but like that routine of him giving the baby his bath, while for like Western world, that's remember I was talking about like the hard thing, the man thing. That's the hard thing. Like that's one of like our hard things, right? So like the father would give kids baths because kids are rowdy, they're moving around, like it's hard. That's back breaking work, right? So like as a woman, I shouldn't do back breaking work. So like culturally, like not culturally, but like I shouldn't be doing that. But I know like for him, he talked about that, the mother giving the baby the bath, and that's something that he wanted. Unfortunately, we just didn't get that. So for him to do it, it seems like after he started doing it, he has a closer bond with the baby, and he just seems like more confident as a father. He seems more confident in making decisions. He seems more confident in like saying like, no, I don't agree with how certain things are going, which is very helpful for me. Like going back what I was saying about if I was lacking in our household at any point, he would say, no, this is not okay. This is not right. This is what I need you to do. This is what I need. And as a father, you also have these wants and needs with your kids because you want them to be raised a certain way. So now he's vocalizing, oh, I want you to do this. I need you to do this. This is how you can meet my needs. And that's helpful because I'm not just out here in the world figuring it out on my own. Because we don't have that much support. I don't have 5 or 6 different mothers giving me advice, you know? So, yeah. I'm very proud of him.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. That's for an African man. Good. Honestly. So, if you were married, for instance, to an American, how do you think that conversation, do you think it would be a hot spot for you guys, or is it something everyone knows their place and they just do?
I think it would just be like, you tell me what you want me to do from the man. Like, you tell me what you want. So, like, if I was married to an American and I told him, like, hey, I need you to help me wash the dishes at nighttime, no problem. If I need you to, unless they're lazy, you know, like, I'm going to take them out to whatever, but no problem. If I need you, if I feel like having garbage in the house is giving me anxiety, please take that out. No problem.
So you think it's more 50-50 kind of thing?
It's a lot of it is.
It's just 50-50.
A lot of it is. And then it's like, but also, African man, financially, is not 50-50. Western, financially, is 50-50.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a big difference. And it's like, I don't have to question or worry if he's gonna like say, hey, where's your half of the rent this month? Like, I don't have to do that. But with American, I would have been like, oh. So I mean, I gotta be half the rent. But I think that's probably why they're more so more willing to help in the house. Yeah.
So you guys want everything split in the middle, 50-50. Okay, we'll split finances, everything.
You know,
everything. So I think okay. So there's a balance there. So what do you want? Is it provisional?
What are your needs? Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So for you, gender, so how would you raise your son? You have a son now, beautiful, beautiful son. How would you raise him? Raise him the African way or more American?
Yeah.
Will you raise him to go on a date, like when he goes on a date to, you know, pay for the date or, you know, take care of the woman?
I feel like that's etiquette though, right? So I feel like proper etiquette, the man pays for the dates, American or not, you pay for the date. And then you like her or not, you pay. You like her or not, you help her take her coat off and you open the chair. You open the car door. Like, I'm going to raise him to be a gentleman for sure. Father's going to raise him to be a gentleman. But I'm going to sit there and whisper. Do this with mommy. You know, like, because it starts with him and mom, right? Like, come open, you know, you open mommy's door. Right, you pull out mommy's chair, you help mommy with her jacket, and then I think when it comes to how he helps his future wife, I also would have to take into account her culture, right? So I think while my son is dating, we will teach him how to be a gentleman. We will preach to him being a provider, but and with not misogyny in the mix, but just that as a male, as a man, you have the capability and the capacity to work harder or withhold more weight than females. I just like, I don't think that's a misogynistic way to explain that. And so that he doesn't feel as if he has to be scared to take care of a woman, because there are women who are also strong, who will also help you, but you shouldn't overbear on her. Like, you should offer help, and to take care of her in all those, in whatever way she needs you to help her and take care of her. But when he gets married, I feel like that conversation will be different, and I know the conversation will not be with me. And I'm very, I'm sure that I will give like little bits of advice here and there, but I'm very aware that his dating life and all of that's going to come from his father. But I'm very confident that he's going to be a gentleman, and that he's going to be kind and sweet, and confident, and yeah.
So what I hear you say is basically you're going to reason it'll be a blend of the American and the African culture, like mix. So being a gentleman, I know you said it's etiquette, but honestly, I feel like it's very Western.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
Girl. It's in movies you see men open doors for women or pull out the chair and all that. I mean, people Africans shouldn't come for me, but I feel like it's more Western than it is African.
Really?
I think so.
I think so.
I mean, the men, like I said, they're providers, so they might not open the door for you, they might not pull out the chair for you, but they will provide for you.
Mm-hmm.
They will make you feel loved, like everything, like whatever you need, you get, right? So, yeah, I think it's more Western, all of those gentlemen etiquette thing.
Yeah.
But so you guys, you'll be a blend of like just teaching him that, and also teaching him how to be like a team player in marriage or relationship.
Hopefully, like I would like, because I feel like some things you can't verbally teach, right? Like
it's just by experience.
I hope that we get our kinks out enough that our kids experience us as a married couple in a way that they are like, I want to emulate my mom and dad, not I want to be completely different than my mom and dad. Yeah, like I want us to walk by example. So yeah, because I feel like that's, as his mom and as a woman, and I'm okay with this. My sole like purpose, I guess, eventually will be to just be an image, right? Because he's gonna watch how I carry myself. He's gonna watch how I take care of myself mentally, emotionally, physically. So I have to be the best version of myself. I'm not just living for me anymore. So I could put him in all the sports and everything, but I'm still the one he's going to look at when he goes to look for a wife.
That's true. They say most men look for their moms when they for wives. Women will remind them of their moms. Do you think, and rounding off, I know we've spoken for long, but do you think that some women operate in their masculine energy because they are married to men who are not putting it forth, or men who are not up and doing? Do you think is that a true statement, or?
I think it's very true.
It's very true. I think someone has to do the job. Someone has to take the driver's seat. Yeah.
Somebody has to tell. You can't be two blind mice, right? Somebody has to figure out like where are we going, what are we doing, and I think masculinity in women can sometimes look like anger because resentment, and like we're not wired to be in that seat. So for us to figure out how, and it's like, I feel like when women are with men, you're always juggling how to put him in that seat mentally, even though you know you're there, right? So you're like, he has this potential, I know that he can do it, and then you have these unrealistic expectations for that person, and then when they let you down over and over again, you make excuses for them, and now you're not showing up for yourself because you said I will not do, and now you're doing, right? So yeah, I think we for sure we show up in our masculine, and we demasculate those men, and we a lot of times probably make them even worse, you know? Yeah. Because there's a handful of women who are able to say, I will love you from a distance until you get yourself together. I'm not waiting for you, but if you get yourself together in enough time while I'm completing what I'm completing, we might be able to meet up again, right? But I think that's only a handful. Because I think the majority of us want to find our person so bad that we're just going to like hang in there. Yeah.
And start running the show.
Yeah.
And further emasculate the man, and then it's just crazy.
Yeah.
That's true. That's sad. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for talking about this, because I know, like, with intercultural marriage, I imagine the dynamic is just crazy and different.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice to anyone, I know in the previous episode you gave about in the context of gender roles, what would you let people know that's prepare?
I would say don't, because this is something I feel like I should have said in the last video. The labels, the culture does not define who you are as an individual, who that person is as an individual, be it if you're a man watching this trying to get some advice from women, or a woman trying to get some advice about your current situation. At the end of the day, your character and your morals and value will lead you in the right direction. So do not question yourself. And so that's my advice.
So well spoken. Wow, thank you so much, Sia. Really appreciate you coming and being vulnerable and sharing your story with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep coming back for more episodes. Thank you so much. Bye. See you next time.